I'm gonna tell you about something that happened to me back in my sophomore year at State University. It's messed me up, honestly, and I still don't get it all. I was just a regular student, you know, stuck in this tough organic chemistry class. One night, I was in the lab, late, around 11 p.m., trying to finish up some dumb experiment. The place was empty, just me and those buzzing lights. Kinda smelled like bleach or something, and the metal tables were freezing when I brushed against them. I was shoving my stuff into my bag when, bam, this scream hit me. Not a normal yell, but this awful, panicked sound coming from the research lab next door. I froze for a sec, heart pounding, then bolted over there. Pushed the door open and saw Marcus, my lab partner, on the floor. He was shaking bad, like a seizure or something, with these gross chemical burns all over his arms and face. Red, peeling, ugh, it was nasty. Derek, the grad student who ran our lab, was there too, freaking out, wiping up some spilled stuff with a wad of paper towels. "Call 911!" Derek shouted, all wild-eyed. I yanked out my phone, hands shaky, but then he lunged at me, grabbed my wrist. "No, wait, stop. We gotta handle this differently." I was like, "What?" "He's dying, dude." But Derek just shook his head, muttering, "You don't get it." He pulled out his phone, dialed someone, and started whispering stuff like, "It happened again, containment, liability crap." I stood there, dumbstruck, while Marcus was still groaning on the floor. Then, get this, 2 guys in suits showed up. Not cops, not medics, just these stiff-looking dudes. Took maybe 5 minutes, way too quick. They didn't even talk, just hauled Marcus onto a stretcher and carried him out. I followed them a bit, saw them head to the back exit. No flashing lights, no ambulance, just this creepy black van waiting there. Derek came up behind me, all chill now, which was weird. Handed me this envelope and said, "Here, take it." Inside, $2,000 in cash and some paper saying I wasn't in the lab that night. "Sign it," he told me, voice flat. Keeps things simple. I didn't know what to do, so I signed it, stuffed the cash in my pocket. Derek locked the lab door, gave me this hard stare, like, "Shut up about it," and left. Next day, I went to class, expecting people to be freaking out, but nothing. Everyone acted normal, like it was just another Tuesday. I asked a couple people about Marcus. "Hey, you seen Marcus around?" They just blinked at me. "Who's Marcus?" one guy said, frowning. I pulled up a photo on my phone, me and Marcus, chilling at a coffee shop a few weeks back. But looking at it, I don't know, it felt weird, like his face wasn't right anymore. I swung by his dorm after. Door was open, room totally empty. Not just moved out empty, but scrubbed, like no one ever lived there. The RA was down the hall and I asked him, "Yo, what happened to the guy in 304? He shrugged. "Been empty all year, man. You okay?" My chest got tight. I'd been in that room last week, eating pizza and watching Marcus lose at Mario Kart. Tried his phone. Rang once, then voicemail. Not even his voice, just that robot one. I left a message. "Hey, Marcus, you good? Call me." But I knew he wouldn't. He was gone. Went to the registrar's office, feeling desperate. "Can you check on a student? Marcus, I don't know his last name, but he's in my class." The lady typed for a sec, then said, "No record of any Marcus here. Ever." I wanted to scream. I had proof, pictures, texts. But it was like he'd been wiped out. That night I couldn't sleep. My apartment was too quiet. Every creak from the old wooden floor made me jump. My roommate's dog kept whining at the window, even though nothing was out there. I kept smelling that chemical stink too, like it was stuck in my nose. The cash and that paper? Still got 'em sitting in my desk drawer. Haven't touched the money, feels wrong, you know? Those photos of Marcus. I scroll through them sometimes, but they're creepy now. His smile looks off, blurry almost. And sometimes, swear to God, I hear that scream again, faint, like it's stuck in my head. I don't know what they did to him, or why. Derek? The suits? The university? No clue. But I feel like someone's keeping tabs on me, waiting for me to slip up and talk. I think about telling someone, but who'd buy this? Sounds nuts, right? So I just keep quiet, act like it's fine. But it's not. Something's really, really wrong. My name is Alex. When I got my dorm assignment freshman year, I was pretty pumped. New start, you know? I'd been stuck at home all summer, so moving into this big campus felt huge. The housing office said my roommate was a senior, Tyler. I was like, wait, a senior? That's random. Usually it's two freshmen together. But I figured, maybe he's a transfer or something. Tyler was fine at first. Quiet guy. Always hunched over his desk, scribbling in notebooks. I'd say hi, try to chat, but he'd just nod or mutter, hey, and keep going. His side of the room was neat though, weirdly neat. But then I started picking up on stuff. He never left during the day, like not once, only at night. I'd hear him shuffle out around midnight, door clicking shut, and he'd be back by morning. And his stuff? It smelled like hospital. You know, that sharp, clean smell? Antiseptic, I guess. Saw some medical junk too. Tubes, little metal tools. But I didn't ask. Didn't want to seem rude. I started feeling off around him, like one night I woke up, pitch black, and I heard him talking, mumbling, real low. Couldn't catch the words, but it made my skin crawl. I stayed still, pretending to sleep. Another time, I swear he was standing by my bed, just watching. I blinked, and he was back under his covers, out cold. I told myself it was nothing. Probably just tired. Midterms were coming, and I hadn't done laundry in forever, so I was down to my last pair of socks. But then, God, this still messes me up. One night, I jolted awake, and there he was, Tyler, standing over me with a freaking syringe in his hand. I froze, heart slamming in my chest. Dude, what are you doing? I stammered. He jumped back, all shaky, and goes, sorry man, I'm diabetic, just fixing my insulin. He wouldn't look at me, just stuffed the syringe in a drawer. I wanted to believe him, really did, but his voice was all wrong, too nervous. I barely slept after that. Next day, I started crashing at my friend Jake's place down the hall. His roommate didn't care, and their room had this old rug that smelled like pizza, but it beat being near Tyler. I'd only go back to grab stuff, books, clothes, whatever. Tyler'd be there, acting normal, but I'd catch him staring sometimes. Those eyes, man. Too focused. Then one afternoon, I came back, and there were these security guys in our room, packing up Tyler's stuff, quick and quiet. I was like, what's happening? One of them, this big guy with a buzz cut, goes, clerical error. Tyler wasn't supposed to be here. I blinked. What do you mean? He handed me some papers. He's from the medical research facility, a patient. Got mixed up with student housing. My jaw dropped. A patient? Like, what kind? He just shrugged. Sign this. We're moving you to a new room. Don't talk about it. I was too stunned to argue. Scribbled my name, grabbed my stuff. They were gone in 10 minutes. I moved that day. New room was fine, but I couldn't shake it. What was Tyler? Why me? A week later, I was by the vending machine. It was always out of those BBQ chips I liked. When I ran into this janitor, Joe. Old guy, always sweeping the halls. I asked, half joking, "Hey, you know anything about my old roommate, Tyler?" He stopped, looked around, then leaned in close. Heard he was in some program. For people with head problems, you know? Serious stuff. They were testing if he could act normal around regular kids. I stared. Wait, so I was, what, part of it? Joe nodded slow. Sounds like it. Didn't tell you, huh? I felt my throat tighten. Number. They didn't. After that, I was a mess. Kept replaying it all. Tyler's mumbles, that syringe, those night stares. What was he gonna do? And the university just let him live with me? Like I was some lab rat? I started double-checking my lock every night. Once, I heard footsteps outside my door. Turned out to be some drunk guy stumbling home, but I still flipped out. I never saw Tyler again. Don't know where he went. Joe said the research building's got locked floors you need special keys for. Makes me wonder what else is down there. Sometimes, I catch that hospital smell randomly, like in the stairwell, and it hits me all over again. What if I hadn't woken up that night? What if he'd... I don't know. I don't want to know. I gotta get this off my chest, okay? It's about something that started back in my sophomore year. I got this email one day about a scholarship, the Blackwood Academic Excellence Program. It was unreal. Full tuition, a place to live, even some cash every month. All I had to do was join their special research projects. Sounded like a dream, you know? But, it's not what I thought. They didn't mess around with the selection stuff. There were all these tests, psych evaluations, medical checkups, and talks with these professors I'd never even seen around campus. I figured it was just because it was a big deal. They picked 25 of us and we got moved to this residential place away from everyone else. The facility was tucked away at the edge of the campus, surrounded by dense woods that seemed to swallow any sound. At night, the silence was deafening, broken only by the occasional creak of the old building, or the distant howl of wind through the trees. The halls were dimly lit, with lights that flickered unpredictably, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Sometimes, I'd catch a glimpse of movement out of the corner of my eye, but when I turned, there was nothing there. It made me jumpy, always feeling like someone was watching me. Our days were packed. Classes from morning till evening, then study time after. No leaving unless they said so. And they watched our internet like hawks. I met some cool people there, though. We'd joke about the workload over burnt coffee from the machine in the lounge. But even they started acting weird after a while. One girl, Sarah, who used to be really outgoing, became withdrawn and paranoid. She'd whisper to me in the library, saying she thought the professors were listening to our conversations. Another guy, Mike, started having night terrors, screaming in his sleep about being trapped in a lab. We tried to support each other, but the fear was palpable, and trust was hard to come by. The classes were weird. Stuff like brain science and how to mess with people's heads. Not normal college junk. The professors had these cold, emotionless expressions, like they were hiding something. We had to sign papers promising not to talk about it. I didn't think much of it then, just happy to be picked. But I started noticing things, like the floorboards in my room squeaked every time someone passed by at night. Same time, every night. I'd lie awake, heart pounding, wondering who was out there. A few months in, things got strange. Some of the others changed. They could remember everything, spot patterns in seconds, even talk people into stuff effortlessly. The professors said it was the learning protocols working. But then, people who asked too many questions, or tried to quit, got sick. Real bad. Seizures, hallucinations, acting like someone else. I'd see him in the halls, pale and shaky, and I'd just look away. One night, I woke up, and my roommate was staring at me in the dark, eyes locked on mine. I mumbled, "Dude, what's up?" He whispered, "They're watching us," then rolled over and slept. I didn't sleep after that. Another time, I found a crumpled note under my pillow. "Don't trust anyone." No idea who wrote it. I started suspecting everyone. The treatment sessions were the worst. They'd strap me into a chair, attach electrodes to my head, and hit me with flashing lights, loud noises, sometimes electric shocks. Each session left me drained, disoriented, like my mind was being rewired. I'd have memory gaps or recall things that never happened. Conversations with strangers. It was terrifying, not knowing what was real. One evening, I sneaked into the administrative office, heart pounding. I picked the lock with a paperclip and found files on us. Medical histories, psych profiles, notes on our progress. There were documents about Project Blackwood, mentioning cognitive enhancement and behavioral modification. Some pages hinted at past students who disappeared or suffered breakdowns. It was chilling. It crashed down when I called my mom. She mentioned progress reports and photos of me in classes I never took. I dug deeper. The program wasn't part of the school. It was an experiment, funded by shadowy government types with too much power. I couldn't leave. They wouldn't let me. Finally, I snapped. I stormed into Professor Hayes' office, trembling with rage. "What are you doing to us?" I shouted. He smiled coldly. "You signed the contract. You knew what you were getting into." I threatened to expose them. His face darkened. "You won't get far. We have eyes everywhere." That night, I tried to escape, but security guards caught me, dragged me back, and locked me in. The next day, they put me through an extra-long session. I woke up unable to remember my name for hours, like my identity was slipping away. He'd said, "You're part of something bigger now. Embrace it." But I'm losing myself piece by piece. Every day I feel less like me, more like a puppet. I don't know how long I can hold on. If you're reading this, please, don't join the Blackwood program. It's not worth your soul. Spread the word. Save yourselves. And if you can, save me too. Footsteps. Gotta go. Be careful.